Body Nation. Listen, I have to say, I'm so sorry for not seeing you guys in so long, man. I've been very busy. We went on vacation, we're remodeling our bathroom, and frankly I haven't had really anything to do to the car. So I'm kind of waiting for things to settle down, wait for summer to settle down and all the chores I got to do around the house. And I missed you guys. Hopefully you missed me too. Again, it's been way too long since I posted something. I've been getting the itch to work on the car big time, and I've been getting the itch to make you guys a new video. So got a little something new for you guys. Check this out. Okay, so as you can see here, we got the SVE aluminum radiator. So I'm finally going to put those overheating issues to bed with this guy here. Hopefully, it is a much improvement over the stock one, and I know it's SVE. Before it's all said and done, I think half of my car is going to say SVE all over it. I don't like the brand name. I wish they would have come up with something else. This is such a rip-off of SVT. They even call it special vehicle equipment, and I think they do it on purpose because people think they might be buying SVT parts, but this is all Chinese-made stuff. My wheels are SVT. The front brakes are SVT. I think the control arms are SVT. I'm sorry, SVE. See what happens? See? There's a bunch of SVE parts on it, but frankly I do that because I'm a fan of LMR. I'm not doing any kind of promotional anything for them, trust me, but they are a local Texas company. I do support Texas companies for the most part, and the stuff they make is decent quality, and it's been working out just fine, and the SVE stuff is very well priced. So this aluminum radiator here, if you go to LMR's website, you look at the reviews, they're just absolutely great reviews. The finish on them is perfect. You can see the quality on this thing. We'll look at it closely here in a second, but the quality on it's really nice, and it was on sale for 150 bucks. So I couldn't say no to that, especially since I know I'm going to be putting power adders on the car eventually, and we're going to be rebuilding the motor, the turbo kit and everything, and I'm hoping that this radiator will last through all the modifications that we put on it. So anyways, that's what this video is going to be. We're going to be replacing the radiator in the Mustang, but that's not the only thing. I got more things coming really soon here on the car, so we're going to have a lot of videos coming. Behind me, picked this up from the machine shop today. I found a local guy. In fact, it's kind of hard to find a machinist. I can go on a whole rant about that in itself, but there's a lot of machine shops around the area. All of them specialize in big CNC machines, and not many of them do small jobs. A lot of them turn me down because they want to do big manufacturing type stuff. And there's no really local engine machine shops except for one that's in Fort Worth that I'm familiar with. And when I took this up to them, they quoted me $100 an hour. He said it'd take over 2 hours. It basically is going to be over 200 bucks to drill and tap the bosses in this and mill out my EGR spacer. So I got this back from the shop. I'll show you guys this. And I got my 65mm EGR spacer now bored to a 70mm to match everything else up. And we're going to hopefully line this up. I just got this back, so I haven't actually put this up to the intake manifold, but we're going to make sure that this lines up, make sure that he milled it correctly, and yeah, let's get going. Okay everybody, so let's just go over real quick what kind of work I had done. This is the 65mm BBK EGR spacer that I bought. Originally had all intentions on putting a 65mm intake, but once I measured the GT40 Explorer intake and throttle body, they measured out to be 70mm. So this was going to be a restriction. I didn't feel like really going out and buying another piece, so I had this bored out. So the machinist I took this to bored this out. He did a really good job. You can see it looks like it's slightly off center. He said he centered it. Hopefully that's just the casting. So we're about to put this on and make sure everything lines up. And if it doesn't, then I'm pretty screwed, I guess, and I'm going to end up having to buy a new one anyways. But he charged me 100 bucks to do the boring on this, and show you what we did at the intake here. And as you guys know, this is a Explorer lower, and this is the GT40 equivalent and Cobra equivalent intake. But for these to work, you have to do some drilling and tapping. I wanted him to do it because he had the equipment and I knew it would be done right. So first off, this boss here, this flat boss, was drilled and tapped 3/8. This is going to accept the intake sensor. This is a coolant sensor, but essentially the same thing. So it'll accept the air intake temperature sensor here, and on the back here we've had this section drilled and tapped for the EGR passage. That way we can keep the EGR stock and keep everything stock. Hopefully EGR will function, and then later on down the road when I get an engine management system I can remove it. But this has been drilled and tapped there and here. So that's pretty much ready to go. We're going to put a coat of paint on it and get this thing installed in the next video. Let's see if this thing matches up first. Okay, so in case you guys missed my other video, this is an Explorer throttle body that I modified to work with a Fox body. Modified it by changing the linkage on it to the Fox body mount. So this is ready to go. And judging by the looks of it, looks like it's pretty straight through there. Look at the back though. Okay. And in the back, if you can look, hopefully you can see it there. It looks like it's actually bigger. Let's measure this, because this is a 70 mil throttle body, but this looks to be a little larger. Let's see what we got here. Well, if you can see that, it is spot on 70 there. So he did this correctly. Yeah, 70 mil. Okay, and this is 70 mil too. So that's right. It looks like the back side of the throttle body. Yeah, so the back side looks like it's more like maybe a 68 or something. $66. Okay, so it's 66 mil on the back inside, 70 on the front. So these are measured by the front, as far as I know. Anyways, worst case scenario, I'll get a 70 mil throttle body if this doesn't work, but this is going to no doubt give me more air. So it is going to help out tremendously, guys. Okay, so this looks pretty good. It's going to make a huge improvement, and it's going to definitely look nicer, especially once get the whole thing painted and get the top plaque here painted up as well. But that's not why we're here. Let's look at this radiator. So let's check this thing out, man. So again, this is SVE. It's $150 on LMR. It is a 3-core or 3-row radiator. Comes with a cap. Comes with everything, but look at the weld quality on it. It looks pretty nice. So when I got this out of the box, I thought first thing was how actually professional looking this thing looked. So it did kind of exceed my expectations when I pulled it out of the box, and it's got the flanges here, so you can. So it has these flanges welded on here, so you can use your existing radiator mounts, and this will slide directly into the stock location without any kind of modifications. Now I want to try to move this on the back side where you can see it without damaging the fins here. And by the way, guys, this is stupid light, man. This is a crazy light radiator. When I picked up the box, I knew it was going to be lighter because it's aluminum, but man, it is a lot lighter, no doubt. Okay, so the opposite side of it, like I said, it comes with a cap. Gives you a nice SVE sticker. Again, my whole car's going to be freaking plastered with that logo. But this is an automatic. They don't make a manual. It doesn't really matter. If you have a manual car, you simply don't use these ports here. If you have an automatic, you use these for your transmission cooler. So that's what that is. There's just a loop. It's got a cooler in here for the transmission lines if you want to run that. So your intake and export is capped. Fins look like they're in really good shape. And it comes with a drain petcock valve, of course, which is good. So I don't know about you guys, but man, this thing looks pretty slick. And in case I haven't talked about my overheating issues, I told you guys I kind of fixed the overheating problem with the new clutch that I put on the fan. Now it is a standard stock radiator. The fan's in good shape. The cooling system is in good shape, but I did replace the clutch, and that seemed to resolve all my cooling or overheating issues until I was stuck in traffic after going on the freeway, 80 miles an hour, stopped in traffic on a 101 degree day, and the temperature just went, I mean, all the way up to the L on normal. So it was up hot. I had to get going, get a gas station, stop, let it cool off for a second. And once I got moving again, and once the fan started spinning, it cooled off pretty quickly. So I don't think there's anything wrong with the engine. There's nothing major, say, going on with the heads or anything like that. I really just think the weather was just crazy hot, and this is a pretty old original radiator. So I know what you guys are thinking right now. Why don't you just replace the water pump and everything else while you're at it? I probably will, but I know I'm going to be tearing into this engine sooner than later, especially when I get the intake off. And when I get the heads off, the front end pretty much has to come off anyways to access, the heads whenever I get the trick flows in. So when that happens, I'm going to go ahead and nut up and get a decent pump, probably get the Edelbrock or one from Ford. I've been kind of pricing them today, and anyways, it may be sooner than later. I hate doing all this work to the cooling system, especially putting the new radiator in and then leaving the stock water pump. But the water pump is not leaking. There is no play in it. I checked that whenever I replaced the serpentine belt and relocated or removed the air pump. So the water pump's good. It's just not a high volume, and that's what I wanted to get, was a high volume pump to help kind of fill in the extra capacity of this big radiator. But I'm fairly confident that this alone is going to solve all my problems. And if it doesn't, then I'll know to start looking at the pump and the thermostat. The thermostat's been replaced 2 or 3 times. I think I've got like a 185 in it now. It actually opened up closer to 190 when I tested it, but it does work. And like I said, the car has been fine. I've been driving it, drove it this week twice, and it was fine. So it's not quite as hot outside. It was staying right in the center, which is good. But this is going to give me peace of mind, especially when we start going with a blower or turbo, and we start putting some more mods on the motor. So yeah, let's get going, man. Quit talking, let's work. More work, less talk. Installation is super straightforward. I do want to try to save the coolant because I've got some of the oil purple additive in it. If it's not dirty, if it's dirty, we'll just chunk it. But I'm going to get the car lifted up so we can get to the petcock valve and get this thing drained. Okay, got it up on an angle, so I got the driver's side lifted up on it here so that it'll help drain the coolant to the petcock valve side, and also let me access to the bottom lower radiator hose. So let's get the bucket. Okay, that's about all I got there, guys, for the bucket. The petcock valve is right here. It's right there, and as soon as I unscrew this, hopefully it's going to make it to the bucket, but that's all the room we got, so fingers crossed. There's no getting around this. You're going to make a mess. It's just a matter of how much of a mess do you want to make. Okay, I'll let that sit. And we're missing the bucket a lot. Yeah, there's no way to not make a mess doing this. It just really sucks an amount of rags. Well, yep, that didn't work. It is everywhere. And it's going all the way down the driveway and all the way out here. So, alright. See if I can get a towel, I guess. Well, that wasn't too much fun. Yeah, now my garage is like slick as ice. Anyways, you're gonna make a mess, who cares? So let's get the upper radiator hose off and the lower one off. So we're gonna make more of a mess doing that. and then take off the brackets or the bolts to the shroud, and take off the brackets. Now, the hope here is I can take these top brackets off, the hoses off, and slide it out the top, plop the new one in, pull everything back together. But worst case scenario, we may have to take off the fan shroud and even possibly the fan. So let's see what happens. This is also a good time to obviously replace your hoses. My hoses are in good shape. I'm going to leave them for now. Let's see, I haven't looked at the bottom one. We'll look at the bottom one. The top one here looks to be in okay shape. Okay. And you're going to have coolant come out of this too, whether you like it or not. It's going to happen. And let's go on the bottom here. Loosen the lower radiator hose. Get that from the top here. Oh yeah, nice. Very good. You guys remember whenever I bought this car, it didn't have an overflow tank. So because it didn't have an overflow tank, whoever replaced the lower radiator hose was able to get to it. It looks like the screws pointed directly up underneath this, so I'm going to remove this guy. Okay, actually we'll just loosen the overflow tank. And we'll put that back in so we don't lose it. It should be out of my hand right here now. Hey, that wasn't tight at all. Man, surprised that hasn't fallen off. Okay. Alright, so we're about to have another leak. Let's get a pan or something underneath this lower hose so we don't make the same mess we made a second ago. Okay, a little tech tip here. I'm going to take these plugs and put them on my old radiator to help keep it leaking and dripping on me whenever I take it out. Okay, so we're going to remove these. Get the fan shroud loose and then remove the top brackets here. You guys get yourself, what does this say? Get yourself an 11 mil for the radiator shroud. Place it in your favorite location where you don't lose them, right? Okay. If I'm not mistaken, there should be 2 more on the bottom. Okay, there's not 2 on the bottom. You guys have done this, just laughing right now. Haha, I knew he'd come back. So, I'm just going to pop this out. Just like that. I'm going to sit it right here on top of the fan. So, thank you, Ford, for doing that. That makes it easy. Okay. Now we're going to get a 10 mil. Little retainer brackets here. So we're going to unplug this overflow tank hose. There we go. And it should pull right out. Wires. That's how you do it. Okay guys, you saw how easy that was to pull out. Let's take a quick look at the difference here between the stock Radiator and the aftermarket one. So we're going to lay these side or straight up next to each other. Obviously the first thing we're going to notice here is the thickness difference, the core difference. So this is obviously a higher capacity than your stock one. This is what gives you your cooling power. More surface area to cool is going to equal cooler liquid coolant, which is going to then make your engine run cooler. So this is good. Now mine is kind of dirty, you can see here, but looking at dimensionally, they look identical. So again, guys, I haven't yet have one thing to complain about with this SVE radiator, but yeah. So this is a pretty simple project. What I do want to do though is before we get too excited and slap this in, let's go ahead and take all the clips, move it over to this one, make sure this one is 100% ready to plop in and have everything bolt in place. That way we're not fighting it when it's in the engine compartment. Okay, so just getting this up here on the bench. They're side by side. I'm just going to take each one of them off. I'm going to simply move it over. I'm guessing it's going to go in this top hole here. Like that. Same with this other top one. And don't forget your bottom clips here, guys. So putting these caps on obviously made a big difference in spillage. Put all your caps back on, you won't have a problem with it leaking all over the place when you're trying to work on it. Let's get a little persuasion with the hammer here. Okay, so there's a proper method of releasing these. Of course, I've never done this before, so learning with you here. This groove right here, the back clip actually clips into, so what you want to do is put a flathead screwdriver, hold down on it, and that will release it. Let me get a bigger screwdriver, but that will release it, and this one's been released. There's one. And there's two. Swing over to the new one here. And we'll switch these on. Okay, a little more persuasion with the hammer. Making trying my best not to dent these fins. Okay, so all four clips are in, so let's slide this in the car. Okay, so see these feet? The bottom has feet like this as well, and the bottom of the car here has a groove in it where these feet sit into rubber isolators. You want to make sure these go in. I feel like I'm in it, but I want to crawl underneath it real quick and just make sure that these are seated where they're supposed to be. So kind of pull the fan out of the way, and the light I've got up here, I can actually see in here and see that I am sitting right on the rubber pad. So now I'm going to take the fan shroud and kind of put it back into the grooves. I was in a second ago. There we go. Just like that. So the bottom is now in the clips that we clipped in. And we're going to go ahead and attach this hose. Keep it from dripping. Hold it up a little bit more. And wish we could use something like this. I hate this wire here. But we're going to go ahead and take the isolators and bolt in the radiator. So put these back over here. Careful with these wires, guys. From the factory, they're supposed to be right here. But with this thicker radio, I want to make sure I don't squish it too much. Man. Look at that. Look at that fit. Dang. I don't like these wires being right in front of the cap. It makes it kind of a pain. So put it right here. You know what? Also, while I'm at it, you can see I've got not barely room here. I've got a really small amount of room to put the overflow back on. So I'm going to go ahead and put the overflow back on while I'm here. Okay. All right. This will sit back right there. Man, these isolators fit perfectly over this new radiator. Okay, get that kind of loose. Okay, radiator's nice and solid, man. Make sure the fan isn't hit. Where? Okay, the fan is not hit, so this looks like it's aligned pretty well. So now these go back in. Look at that. Man, this thing's just been a piece of cake. Cakewalk. Cakewalk. Fan shroud tight. This one needs to come over just a little bit, looks like. low radiator hose, tighten the hose clamps. That's it. Make sure this is tight. And while we're tightening this up, just to let you guys know, I did read through the instructions. Wanted to know if there was any mention of flushing the radiator because of the new metal shavings from the machine work and everything. It's probably a good idea. In fact, I'm not going to fill it tonight because I don't have any coolant. What I might do is just leave the bottom one open, roll it outside when it's sunny, and flush some garden hose through here and just kind of cap the bottom, fill it all the way up, unplug the bottom, let it just flush out what might be any kind of metal shavings in the radiator. So I'll be honest, I'm not going to complete the install completely tonight. I mean, the install is done, but we're not going to complete it as far as taking it for test drive just yet. What I am going to do though, tomorrow is roll it out. I think I'm going to go ahead and flush it. I don't think it's going to hurt. I mean, you could put metal filler in your radiator, and when you have a cap to stop a leak, if you have a head gas leak or something, so it's not like it's going to damage, the coolant passages. It's probably just good practice, but yeah. So I'm going to complete this install. We're going to put this hose on. I'm going to put the bottom hose on just loosely in case I do decide I want to do that, and yeah, we'll get this thing outside tomorrow and burp it real good. Fill it up, let it run, fill it up, let it run. Go take it for a test drive and see if my cooling problems are gone. I think they're going to be. So there you have it. That is quite possibly the easiest install of anything I've done on this car. It looks awesome. I know it's going to work better because there's absolutely no way that is going to outperform this. I saved a bunch of weight, and guys, I can't tell you how incredibly light this thing is. Seriously, it is unbelievable. When I picked up the box, I thought it was empty almost. I mean, it was really that light. So this thing is incredibly light. So you're saving some weight off the nose of the car, which is a good thing. It looks cool. $150, and it's gonna solve my cooling problems. So next time you guys see me, I should be taking this thing for a test drive, and we're gonna get ready to get this installed. And possibly a water pump. So I may get a water pump for it too. Probably wait till I get the heads, but man, sorry it's loud in here. I got the fan going because it is super hot. I'm sweating my balls off. But guys, I hope you like this video. Please subscribe and stay tuned because I'm not taking a vacation again. I'm sorry I spent that much time off. I know you miss me. But I'm coming back and we'll be doing a lot more stuff. I can't wait to get this intake on. This is going to improve a lot of flow. It's going to help the engine breathe quite a bit, even with the stock heads. But new build in the motor is coming, heads are coming, and we're going to get ready for this turbo kit that it has to have. So lots to come. Please stay tuned. Thanks for watching.